Hello and welcome to the Backtracking episode proper for Tijuana Sweetheart. We'll start with the band's debut album, Public Display of Infection. Released in 2007, it was released independently and I couldn't find a producer for this one, so let's do what we always do in the show and say that the band undid it themselves. Even though they probably didn't, but that's the thing I like to throw in there. It's a good running gag. Probably. I don't know. So, something that I didn't bring up in the very brief history video is that this album was released under the band's old name. But something that I always mention is that this is my show and I can make shit up as I go along, so this was technically released by Tijuana Sweetheart. Okay, get it, got it, good. Anyway, the album starts with the track titled Cock Tease, and I know that this is a meme by this point, but damn does this set a tone. It shows that the band are a zero fucks giving type of punk band, focused more on having fun and seeing what they can get away with. And I always appreciate something like that, even if an album doesn't sound great, I love it when a band is enjoying themselves. Luckily, this album is, as it turns out, pretty good, so there's no worries there. How good is it, no one asked? Well, I did mention that some of their songs appeared in popular rhythm games, with the song Fuck the Kells under the clean edited name of FTK appearing in Guitar Hero 2, and the song 7 appearing in Rock Band. One thing unique about the band in general is how they have that old school Riot Girl style punk sound. Considering that the song came out in 2007, to me that's kind of impressive. This is a very well produced album, which I'd expect if this is actually down to the band doing it themselves, and the lyrics match the tone of the music in that they don't take themselves too seriously. The band speak rather openly about sexuality, lesbianism, and conformity, and they sell what they're saying very, very well. Fuck it, I'm just going to be honest, this is a fun, frantic, and surprisingly honest debut, and I always appreciate honesty and passion like that, you know I do. My favourite song goes to Tattooed Women. Public Display of Infection isn't long, but it's fun, sounds clean as hell, minus the, lyrics, and doesn't compromise its identity. It's just some really, really good shit. Next is the band's second album, Trash Candy. This one was released in 2009, independently again, presumably self-produced again, and this would be the band's last album under the Vacant Boston moniker before switching to Tijuana Sweetheart. Anywho, this album is pretty much just straightforward procedure from the band, I guess you could say. Once again, a couple of their songs appeared in music games, with the songs No Mercy and Trash Candy being part of the DLC for the Rock Band Network, which was a thing that existed apparently, and the latter of the two plays over the end of the credits of Rock Band 3. Neither of those songs are the starting track, as that goes to the song Sugar Daddy, which seems to, right off the bat, feel like a leftover track from Public Display of Infection. But surprisingly, the band actually do mature a little bit for this album. The punk rock sound and fury is still all there, but the lyrics do step up. A little bit. Just a little bit. And by that I mean the song No Mercy, which has references to the Karate Kid movies, so what the hell do I know? Still, the lyrics do feel a bit fresher. They still talk about feminism and sexual stuff, but there's stuff about religion and oppression as well, which I didn't really expect from them considering their debut. And it doesn't clash with the tone of the music either, which maintains its fun nature and always forward punk momentum. It does feel more measured too, making the experience feel all the more catchy. And once again, it's well produced. Even though the music is more measured and mature, the production doesn't feel as pretty for this one, which I appreciate. It's amazing that the band made that many changes in just a 2-year gap, the shortest between albums by them, by the way, and the fact that the band improved instrumentally with more guitar solos and better time divided between the members speaks volumes of their maturity. My favourite song goes to Sticks and Stones. Again, much like the debut, Trash Candy isn't a long one, but it's impacting, fun, well written, and well put together, and most of all, it knows what it's doing. I do like it when an album actually knows what it's doing. And finally, we reach the band's third and final album, Under the Gun. This was released in 2012, once again independent, once again without a producer that I could find, and it was the band's first album under the Tijuana Sweetheart name. Maybe that's why it took 3 years between albums to come out, I can't really say I know. Once again, this is an album that shows the band's typical style, but I'd argue that they take themselves more seriously here, and there's even some shades of the Interrupters and Rancid under their sound. I guess that makes sense, as with the name change usually comes with a change in approach and attitude, so it's nice to see that the practice carried on here with this band too. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that all of the band's albums have one cover song, in this case the closing track being a cover of Astro Zombies by Misfits, another band whose influence can be heard in Tijuana Sweetheart sounds, especially in their new one. See? It wasn't just like a random anecdote, I brought it up for a reason. I am right good, man. Regardless, the album starts with the song Fallout, which is a surprisingly darker tone track for the band, but it does bleed into the rest of the album quite well. There's still a lot of fun stuff, don't get me wrong, and the band are into what they're doing, but the fact that they took time to try new things didn't go unnoticed by me. Again, it's not a massive step outside of their usual comfort zone, but it's as far a step as they needed at that point. It feels like a more personal album, and the title is sort of telling of that. The album's pacing matches that as well. It's angry when it needs to be, and it pulls back when it needs to pull back. It's still as profane as you've come to expect from the band, with the lyrics going over abuse and drugs and violence in their typical uncompromising way. It's also a more experimental album, retaining its core sound while adding more growth and seriousness to what the band are already good at, but it's also still fun and catchy to its own way, and that is a very difficult balance to strike, and the band struck it well here. My favourite song goes to Last Transmission. Under the Gun is a great note to go out on, and hopefully the band come back soon with more material. I would have loved to have seen what was next for them, honestly, but you know what? I think this is a pretty good note to go out on. And that is about it for this episode. It was another blind one, but it was quite a good one, I think. I'll see you in the next episode of Backtracking to cover Memphis Tendencies Own Knots, which is spelled without a K because, of course, it is. They just have to be awkward. Before I go, I want to thank anyone who tuned in to Capture the Crown 2 last night. It was an absolutely crazy show. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was super fun. I also, my cat's been here the whole time, by the way. I'm not ignoring him. And I will see you all, not tomorrow, because there's not going to be Fight of the Night, because the next few UFC events have been cancelled, so I won't be able to talk about those for a little while. So, most likely, it'll either be the next Backtracking episode, or Music of the Month. Or PBW. I think PBW will be the next thing I'll actually be doing. Hopefully on Tuesday this time. And I'll see you all next time for that. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye. 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 Bye.